Hey there, Revers. Quick question. Ever thought in your 30s your fitness routine would cut it when you're in your 40s? Spoiler alert, it doesn't. If my 30s self saw me now, she would be in shock. Trust me, after over a decade of coaching amazing women over 40, I've learned a thing or two. Here's the deal. Hitting 40, hitting 50 and beyond isn't just a number birthday bash. Your body decides to throw its own party. And guess what? The old fitness invites, they don't work anymore. Being fit, healthy, youthful, post 40, post 50, etc., means evolving your workout, your nutrition, and your mindset. Feeling frustrated by your fitness results lately? You're not alone, but don't throw in the towel just yet. I'm diving deep into this topic on today's episode of the REV Your Metabolism podcast. And I promise it's going to be a game changer. We're going to tackle the top 3 sneaky little obstacles that could be sabotaging your efforts. Are you ready to redefine your fitness journey and crush those goals? Join me. Let's uncover those obstacles and leap over them together. Here we go. This is a really great episode because I have a lot of women that I work with because that's my jam, women over 40. And what I'm going to talk about today is not only applicable to women over 40, but men as well. But I have a lot of women that come to me and they say, look, I am doing everything and I keep gaining belly fat and I'm not seeing results and I'm doing this, this, and this. And then I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, the 3 things I'm going to talk about today, one of those 3 things is not in place. So obviously, there's many other things that could be contributing to deterring you when you're trying to get results to change your body. But these 3 are the big ones, the big kahunas, Rever. So if you don't have these 3 in place, I want you to just really focus as much of your efforts in these 3 areas. So do you have your shoes on to go walk? And I'm doing something new. I'm getting all fancy up in here. I'm doing this as a video version as well. So you can still, if you're just listening to me and that's the way you like it, you're out on your walk and you're, whatever, great. But if you do want to see the video version, it's over on YouTube, Stress Monkey TV under podcasts. And remember, monkey is E-E instead of EY. I'm glad that you love me for who I am. I'm glad I can just be my cuckoo bird self with you, Rever. All right, so you're going to be walking and I'm going to be talking, basically. Are you ready to get into this? Here we go. So I'm going to go over 3 things that could be the reason that you're not seeing results. And I want to make sure that you're here for a good reason, that you're going to get a lot of benefit out of this episode. So this is 3 things you want to be doing. Yes, they are going to boost your health. Yes, they're going to give you way more energy. Yes, they're going to help you defy aging. But if your goal is also when it comes to the shape of your body, you want to be lean, you want to be fit, you want to look tight and right, yeah? Then this is an episode for you. So number 1, you might be doing too much cardio and not enough weight training. This one's huge. It is so huge. And even if you're already doing weight training, and I want to make sure that I'm being very specific here. When I say weight training, I mean strength training, I mean resistance training. I say weight training because you need to be doing some sort of weight bearing exercise. And in the beginning, starting out with body weight, totally cool. That's fine, but you will eventually grow out of that, and you're going to have to start adding in, whether it be resistance bands or dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever. By the way, I'm sitting over here. I know if you're watching the video, you can see I'm drinking my Spindrift. And if you're listening, I'm enjoying Spindrift grapefruit. Anybody out there know somebody that works at Spindrift? They could be my first sponsor. I've said it before, and I stand by it. All right, so even if you're doing weight training, but you're not seeing the results you thought you would see, then let's talk about some tweaks that might be the reason why you're not seeing the changes in your body. And I have to say, as we move into this area of talking about lifting weights, weight training, the sneaky thing with us is that you got to kind of give up the idea of focusing solely on weight. If you have a lot of weight to lose, then, say over 50 pounds, then yeah, weight in the beginning, that can be something that you use as a measurement. However, if you're looking to lose like 10 or 15 pounds, when you're weight training, if you're gaining muscle and losing fat, it's hard to tell by that number on the scale what's happening in your body. So I just want to throw that out there, that maybe let's not get so wrapped up on the number on the scale. So the benefits of lifting weights, holy guacamole. There are so incredibly many benefits, and there's a lot of new research coming out that is showing how incredibly important weight training really is when it comes to our health and our longevity. I mean, I'm going to just mention a couple. I don't want to go too deep on this rabbit hole here, because what I really want to get into is more specifics on what to do when you're weight training to help get you results that I think a lot of people are maybe not doing. But the one thing I want to mention is, the more lean muscle mass you have, you're going to be more insulin sensitive. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, we want to avoid insulin resistance, which affects a huge percentage of Americans. We want to become more insulin sensitive. More lean muscle mass, that will happen. The other thing that is absolutely mind-blowing is the impact that exercise in general has on our longevity, and not just the number of years that we live, but also the quality of those years that we live. It boosts your brain function, helps with memory, it improves your mood, releases serotonin. The big thing that I love about weight training is when you are over 40, over 50, I cannot go out and sprint anymore. I used to be a big time sprinter. Can't do that anymore. Hurts my body. High impact stuff, hurts my body. Lifting weights is a great way to get that high intensity training that our hearts need without all the high impact, and, doing things like burpees or, again, sprinting. These type of things, once we get to be older, not so happy on our joints, right? So this is a great way to get that high intensity training that we need to A, burn more fat, and B, with cardiovascular health. So that's why I really, really like the idea of lifting weights as we age. I mean, if you're 21 listening to this, you should be lifting weights, but I'm saying we need to shift and make weight training more of a priority as we're getting to be over 40, over 50, etc. I thought what would be really fun here is to start with that's right, Fact or fiction, baby? Yeah. Okay. Fact or fiction? A pound of muscle weighs more than a pound of fat. Is that fact or fiction? That is fiction. A pound of fat is the same as a pound of muscle. They're both a pound. And I hear this all the time. A pound of muscle weighs more than a pound of fat. And I'm like, how is that? How does that math work? It's not mathing in my head. But it is true that muscle, the same weight of muscle, takes up way less space than the same weight of fat. So when you say, and for those of you listening, let's say 5 pounds of muscle is the size of your fist clenched, okay? What's 5 pounds fat gonna look like? Probably double that. So this is another thing to support my argument of let's quit worrying about weight so much. Because if you are weight training and you are gaining muscle and losing fat and you don't see a change on the scale and you're getting frustrated, perhaps it's because you're replacing fat with muscle, which in the long run means you're going to have a faster metabolism, your body's going to burn more calories, you're going to boost your health, yada, yada, yada. It's a good thing. Let's talk about reps, rep ranges. Basically, and don't let me lose you here, I'm going to tell you something that's a little bit specific, but then I'm going to bring it back and simplify it. There are basically 3 rep ranges that we hone in on in the fitness industry. You've got 4 to 6 rep ranges, which is going to make the muscles bigger. Okay, so that's 1 rep range. Then you generally have 8 to 12, 10 to 12 rep range, which can help make the muscle stronger. And then you have 15 and over reps, which is more of like an endurance rep range. So those are the 3 ranges that when we write programs, we generally focus on depending on the client's goals. Now, I don't want you to worry about that at this point. What I do want you to worry about is this. You need to pick a weight that when whatever rep range you're working on, that the last couple of reps are very difficult. And I cannot emphasize enough that this is a major snafu that I see with the women that I train who are over 40. They pick up these little light dumbbells and they're thinking in their head, oh, Alicia says do 10 to 12 reps. So, okay. And the 12th rep is easy breezy lemon squeezy. That's not going to change your body. You need the last 11 and 12 reps, number 11 and number 12, that is, to be like very uncomfortable. Doable, but very uncomfortable. That is where the change is going to happen. Now, I wouldn't suggest lifting so heavy that you're only doing 4 to 6 reps all the time. That's actually fine to do sometimes. Mixing all these rep ranges up is fine to do sometimes. But if you're just starting out, I would recommend doing at least 10 reps. And then sometimes if you know you have light weights, like let's say that's what you only have light weights at home. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to do this, Alicia? Because I only have my heaviest weights are 6 pounds. Then you need to do more reps. Okay, got it? So if all you have access to is light weights, don't stop at rep number 12 because that's the rep range you were given. You need to take it farther. And then when you do have access to different size weights, now you can say, okay, for this workout, I'm going to aim for 10 to 12. And then the next time I work out, maybe I'll aim for 15 instead. So I'll use a little bit of a lighter weight. Is this making sense? So the big takeaway here is when it comes to the rep range, if you are a newbie, the best place to start is rep range 8 to 12. But if you only have access to light weights, you're going to need to do more reps because what did I say to you? The last 1 to 2 reps should be very difficult. The change doesn't happen in the first 10 reps. The change happens in the last 2 that you pushed through. Remember that. All right. And I also wanted to mention I have a little a little something that's relevant to this. I put workouts on my Stress Monkey YouTube channel. And I have just recently, the last couple that I've uploaded, and it might not be the case if you're watching this, obviously, a few weeks from now, or listening to this, I should say. But I have a couple of workouts that really perfect for somebody over 40 that is going to be difficult, but not high impact. So I'm going to link those up down in the show notes where, if you scroll down, you're going to find the description of this episode. I'm going to link up an upper body workout and a lower body workout for you. And you can also just go to my YouTube channel. It's called Stress Monkey TV. I have to say it again, that monkey spelled E-E, not E-Y. Yeah, good. Okay. And I'll link that up too down in the show notes as well. All right. So the second thing that I see is not pushing yourself hard enough with weights. And this kind of rolls into what we just talked about with the rep range. Obviously, I don't want you to hurt yourself. And you don't want to push yourself so hard that you go to complete failure every single time. Pushing yourself till failure, meaning you literally cannot do another rep, is fine to do maybe once a workout, or maybe once a week. You don't want to be doing that all the time. So you don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to overdo it. However, you got to be willing to get uncomfortable. And like I said, taking it back to the last tip, the last couple of reps should be really damn hard to get through. Okay, so here's how you should be when you're lifting weights. You want to be breathy, because the funny thing is that if you're lifting weights properly, you're also going to get that cardio conditioning. Pretty cool. And this is why, as we get older and we get more sensitive to stress and the stress hormone cortisol, and we're trying to run our weight off, we're trying to elliptical machine our weight off, whatever it is, that puts us in this fight or flight state, too much stress on the body. You're better off focusing on lifting weights and just getting in your steps every day. So you want to get breathy. So you should be lifting heavy enough that you're like, whew. It's hard to lift heavy things. Burning muscle, right? I don't want you to feel like your shoulder's going to pop out of the socket. That's not what we're going for. But you want to be uncomfortable, as in like, woo, I'm getting that burn on. Yeah, baby. That's what we want. And sweaty. Get all sweaty. Makes your skin glow. You look beautiful. All right. And the thing that I tell when I'm teaching a class, I tell my clients is, when you are here and you are training with me, I want you to focus on getting strong. Quit focusing on getting your heart rate up. Quit focusing on standing off to the side, jogging in place. No, I want you to focus every exercise you do. I want you to say in your head, I'm getting strong. I'm getting strong. I'm getting strong. That is a game changer. The third thing I want to talk about when it comes to the weight training and how important it is not progressing each time you do a workout. This is also a big problem that I see. People oftentimes will do a different workout every single time they work out. No, we do not want to do that. Your body, you'll never be able to push yourself to progress. There is a type of training that I use with my clients and with my Team Skechers crew, and we call it it's called progressive overload. Not we call it. We didn't make up the name. It's called progressive overload, and the idea is this: you do the same workout for a series. We do, like, every Tuesday, we do the same workout for 4 to 6 weeks. Every Thursday, we do the same workout for 4 to 6 weeks. And the idea is each week, your body will adapt to that workout. So the following week, you can push yourself harder. That's how you're going to get results. If you're constantly doing different workouts, your body's never going to be able to go heavier, to push harder, because it's just trying to get used to all these different exercises. So I highly recommend that you do the same workout. You could do it 4, 6, 8 times. And obviously, you don't want to do it back to back, like on Tuesday and Wednesday. You need to at least split it up with a day in between or week to week. But the idea is you're progressing it some way. And you don't want to progress it in all the ways I'm about to mention, but you want to pick one, maybe two of the following things. Either take less rest in between your exercises. The obvious one, pick up heavier weights. Do more reps. If you're going for time, do the exercises for a longer amount of time. Maybe do more rounds. So say you're doing 4 exercises 3 times through, maybe do 4 times through. You just want to progress every single time you do the workout in some manner. And again, you don't want to progress in all the components. Just pick one, maybe 2. Yeah. Okay, so there you have it. That's the workout part that I wanted to talk about, where if you're not doing those things I just mentioned, that could be a big, huge gaping hole in your overall routine that is standing in the way of your results. The next thing I want to talk about, this is a big one, not eating enough protein. And I know people are talking about this a lot, so we're starting to gain some awareness on this, but I'm going to give you specifics about how much protein that you should be eating and how do you divvy it up throughout the day. So this really hinders results, especially when you're weight training. I want to explain why. 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is protein synthesis. Protein synthesis, oversimplifying it, basically is where when you eat protein, it's made up of amino acids. And amino acids is how your body makes certain things, one of them being lean muscle. So in order for your body to make this lean muscle, this thing called protein synthesis needs to happen. As we age, our body gets less efficient at protein synthesis. So what we could get away with eating in our 20s, the amount of protein to kick in protein synthesis in our 20s, we got to double that as we're getting in our 40s, 50s, 60s. So we need to eat a lot more protein. And the second thing is, if you're lifting weights and you're not eating enough protein, you're spinning your wheels. It's like me saying like, hey, Rever, can you do me a big favor? Can you build me a table? Here's a hammer. And you're like, I need wood, I need nails, I need like a saw. I don't know, you need all the things. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm only giving you a hammer. That is what your body is saying to you. Like, hello, you want me to build lean muscle? Then guess what? You need to give me those tools that I need, meaning amino acids, right? So think about it. If you're not eating enough protein and you are weight training, this could be what is a barrier for you seeing those results. Let me give you some specifics here. First thing you want to do is figure out how much protein that you need every day. Really simple way that I like to tell people to do this is, what is your ideal weight? Not what do you weigh? What do you want to weigh? So let's say you want to weigh 140 pounds. That's how many grams of protein you need to aim for to eat in a day. This is what I would do. If you've never even looked at this and you have no idea how much protein you're eating, I wouldn't change a thing. I would track how much protein you eat in a day in your normal diet, see where you're at. I had somebody do this the other day and they were at 45 grams of protein. And she was like, holy guacamole, because she needed to be at 130. So I told her, just start with 100. Just start with 100. Make that your goal, 100 grams of protein per day. So if this is you, I want you to go track how much protein you're eating already. And if it's way off the mark, just aim for 100 grams of protein per day. Start with that. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take that number. So again, let's go back to our example of 140 grams. You're going to divide that. How many meals are you going to eat in a day? Let's say 3 meals, which is what I recommend, 3 meals a day. So you're going to divide that through 3 meals, right? However, if you're stopping for a second and doing the math, you're like, that's like 45 to 50 grams of protein per meal, Alicia. Here's what I would do. I would use something that I call a protein blast. So it could be some Greek yogurt, which is 20 grams of protein, and then you could stir in a little bit of protein powder, maybe get it up to 30 grams of protein. That's easy, easy, easy right there. So now that 30 grams of protein, you can take that away from one meal. You could just take some unsweetened almond milk, throw some protein powder in it, shake it like you mean it, pound that 20 to 30 grams. So think of it as a little protein supplement just to take the pressure off of you for having so much protein in your meals. And the last thing I want to say about this is I want you to go heavier. So whatever that number is, I want you to shift more protein for breakfast. We want to have a high protein breakfast. And I'm going to tell you right now, I would love it if you would aim for 40 to 50 grams of protein at breakfast. Why? Number one reason is because protein is going to help you to feel full for longer. It helps to keep your blood sugar stable, and your body's more efficient at protein synthesis that we already talked about in the AM hours. So that is why I want you getting that high amount of protein. What do most Americans do? It's a high carb breakfast with barely any protein, and now their blood sugar goes sky high, and they're going to ride the blood sugar roller coaster all day. High blood sugar, then they crash, then they have cravings, so they snack, and it's hard to ever catch up. So what I want you to do is try to get a high protein breakfast, and then we can kind of divvy it up throughout the day. Okay. Oh, by the way, before I forget, two things. Number one is I have something for you that's very helpful. You can go download. It's an example of what a day would look like with high protein meals. I have a few different examples for you. Super helpful. All you got to do is go to stressmonkey.com/protein. And remember, that's monkey spelled EE. So stressmonkey.com/protein. And you can download that cheat sheet. I'll also link that up down in the show notes too. Okay, I'm so sorry. I got a little bit distracted because there's this really cute squirrel right outside my window, and it's like looking at me. Okay, time for a fact or fiction. Fact or fiction. This is actually a really, really helpful little tidbit. Fact or fiction? Well, you're going to know it's a fact now, I guess, but let's play it anyways. 1 ounce of meat is about 7 grams of protein. Is that fact or fiction? That is a fact. So that's pretty helpful, right? When you're planning, you go to a restaurant and it's like, oh, it's a 5 ounces of chicken breast. You're like, okay, well, I know 1 ounce is about 7 grams. So that's probably about 35 grams of protein. Okay, moving on. Number 3, this is a big one, not getting enough sleep. And I know that so many people struggle with this. And I'm so glad that I'm not one of them. But if you're struggling with your sleep, you got to fix this. It is such a huge problem. Okay, let's talk about this. The reasons why this is such a big problem. That's what I want to talk about under this topic. People that don't get enough sleep, it downregulates your metabolism. That means quote unquote slower metabolism. It impacts your recovery from those workouts you're doing. The magic happens from your workouts when you're recovering. And a lot of that happens when you're asleep. So if you're not getting that good quality sleep and allowing your body to rest and recover, you're going to have issues with not building that strong, lean muscle mass. Also, another thing is it impacts the hormones that regulate your cravings and your hunger cues, ghrelin and leptin. So it's not getting enough sleep, you're going to be hungrier, you're going to have more cravings because those hormones are all wonkadoo because you didn't get enough sleep. And the third thing, not getting enough sleep is an issue, is because when you're sleeping, that's prime fat burning time. The idea is that your body is doing all these things while you're asleep to help to regulate, to reset, to repair, right? While you're asleep. But it needs energy to do that. Where does it get it from? Stored fat. So when you're sleeping, your body's literally, unless you have late night snacks, that's why I say don't do that, your body has to burn off of stored fat. I want to read a quote from a study that was published on PubMed that had to do with sleep deprivation. And their definition of sleep deprivation is anything less than 6 hours. Yeah. Here it is. Sleep deprivation affects eating habits, metabolic rate, and the hormones regulating metabolism. There is significantly higher rates of obesity in adults who reported an average of less than 7 hours of sleep per night. Whoa. You got to deal with this if this is a problem for you. You got to turn the TV off. You got to get off your phone. You know, reading always makes me fall right to sleep. There's breathing exercises you could do. There's one called calm breathing. It's inhale for 4, hold your breath for 7, exhale for 8. I'll put that down. I'm going to link to, I have actually a meditation on my YouTube channel, Stress Monkey TV, where I go through it. So I'm going to link to that too. There's also different supplements you can take, ashwagandha, magnesium, a lot of people are taking nowadays. So my point is, go to a doctor, get your sleep dealt with. It's very important. All right. Do you feel like tell me honestly, are you doing all of these things? Are you getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night? Are you eating your ideal weight in grams of protein per day? And it needs to be, you don't want to be just snacking on the protein throughout the day. You need big blasts of protein at a time. And then the other thing we talked about is, are you lifting weights? Are you prioritizing weight training over cardio? And if you are you lifting heavy enough? Are you pushing yourself hard enough? Are you doing the same workout over and over 4 to 6 times and trying to get better at it? Okay, so this is your homework assignment. I want you to scroll down to the show notes. I want you to go get that example day of protein-rich meals. And then there's all those other goodies down there, the link to the sleep. I linked it all down there for you, the workouts, but get that protein so you can see it's fairly easily doable. And you can have an overview. I think I put 3 different example days of like, oh, okay, I can do this. Yeah? All right, Rever, I love this time that we have together. And hey, if you like this show, if it's helpful for you, share it with a friend. Spread the love. And if you have time to leave me a rating or a review, it really, really helps. All right, have a fantastic day. And I'll see you next time.